Hey everyone, and welcome. So today we're going to dive into something I think we could all use a little more of in our crazy, busy lives. We're going to talk about a really profound way to find tranquility and reclaim your own inner peace. Let's get right into it.
All right, to get started, I've got a question for you. When you really truly need to just quiet your mind and find that sense of calm, where do you go? I'm not talking about a physical place, but that spot in your imagination. Just kind of hold that image in your mind as we start this journey. Okay, so our first big idea here is, well, it's a little counterintuitive. It's an idea that really challenges what we think of when we imagine progress, or even paradise itself.
Think about it for a second. If you had to picture the most perfect, enlightened, heavenly world, what does it look like? I bet for a lot of us, what pops into your head is some kind of gleaming, futuristic city, right? The peak of what humanity can build. Well, check this out. The source material we're looking at today just flips that whole idea on its head. It suggests that the most advanced spiritual planes, we're talking the Bodhisattva and Tathagata realms, have no cities at all. It's just people living in total, perfect harmony with nature. This really makes you rethink our modern definition of advanced, doesn't it? Now, the key thing here isn't to say, technology is bad or anything like that. It's more about this deeper idea that as our consciousness evolves, it naturally moves away from the artificial and wants to get closer to the natural. It's this thought that what our souls really crave deep down isn't more convenience, but a connection to something real, fundamental, and timeless. And that right there, that idea, leads us to the absolute core concept for today, something called your soul's primordial landscape. So, what is this? Well, it's this ideal, peaceful image of home that every single one of us carries deep down inside. It's an innate personal vision of total tranquility, the place where your soul feels like it's finally come home. And get this, it's not some place you have to travel to. It's not out there somewhere. It's an internal blueprint. It's literally part of your soul's original design, a memory of peace that you were born with. Once you start looking for it, you see this idea popping up everywhere in our modern world. Think about the whole slow living movement, right? Or the huge number of people leaving big cities for the countryside. Even think about where we choose to go on vacation. It's almost always to places of incredible natural beauty. It's all part of this subconscious pull back to our own primordial landscape. Okay, so this all sounds really nice, right? But let's get real for a second. There's usually a pretty massive gap between this peaceful ideal and, well, our actual day-to-day lives. Let me paint the picture the source gives us. Just imagine this for a second. You're sitting on a hill, it's a warm spring day, and the sun feels just gentle on your skin. In front of you, there's a single perfect cherry tree in full bloom. And in the distance, you see these misty blue mountains, and the only sound you can hear is the singing of birds. Can you feel that? That sense of total calm? Okay, feel that calm? Now, bam, reality check. Our days are more often filled with crowded commutes, deadlines that never seem to stop, staring at concrete office walls, and just this endless flood of notifications from our phones. The contrast it's jarring, and it's exactly where so much of our modern stress comes from. So, what do we do about it? But here's the good news. The source doesn't just leave us there, stressed out. It actually gives us a really practical two-step solution to help us bridge that gap and get back to that inner landscape. And it really boils down to just two things. They sound simple, but they're incredibly powerful. First, you have to consciously stop those racing, anxious thoughts. And second, you have to literally schedule time into your calendar for doing nothing. Now, let's talk about step one, because this is super important. This is not about trying to force your mind to be perfectly silent. I mean, that's nearly impossible, right? The key, the real first move, is to just notice the mental noise. Notice that frantic to-do list running in your head, and then have the simple intention to quiet it down. Just that awareness alone is the beginning of taking back control. And that brings us to step two, which introduces this really cool concept called MUI. It basically translates to non-doing. It's about creating a space in your day where you just exist with no goal, no purpose, not even the purpose of trying to relax. You're just being. And this is where it gets a little different from something you might be more familiar with, like mindfulness. With mindfulness, you're actively focusing your attention, right? On your breath, on the moment. With MUI, you actually let go of the focusing itself.
You release the need for any purpose at all, and you just let yourself exist in this state of natural harmony.
And really, this all leads to maybe the most powerful takeaway from this whole thing. Peace isn't some destination you arrive at. It's not something you can buy or get from the outside world. It is an active skill. It's something you create from within, no matter what's going on around you. All right, so now that we have the tools, let's bring this all back to you. It's time to start thinking about your own personal sanctuary. That cherry blossom hill we talked about, it's a beautiful image for sure, but it's just that, an example. The goal here is not to copy someone else's idea of peace. The goal is to discover what truly deeply resonates with your own soul. So what is it for you? Your personal sanctuary? Maybe it's the smell of salt in the air at a little seaside town. Or maybe it's the profound quiet and the gentle rustle of pages in a library. It could be the sound of rain hitting the pavement while you're warm inside with a cup of coffee. Or maybe it's just looking up at a huge, vast desert sky full of stars. You know what? Let's try a little exercise right now. If you can, just close your eyes for a second. When you think of the word peace, what is the very first image that comes into your mind? Don't force it, just see what appears.
Okay, now let's add some more layers. What can you hear in this place? Is it silent, or are there soft, comforting sounds? What about smells? Can you smell anything? What does the air feel like on your skin? Try to bring all of your senses into it. Whatever you're seeing, hearing, and feeling right now, that is your starting point. That's your blueprint. Discovering that inner world and learning how to visit it whenever you need to is the real key to reclaiming your inner peace. So the last question I have for you is the most important one. What is your primordial landscape?